Look! Up on the ceiling! Is it a chandelier? Is it a spider? No! It's Superfan! Da 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 da! Faster than a speeding flywheel, more powerful than a cast-iron original, able to cool down people with a single click of its control knob. The infant of DC motor technology is now the fan of steel, Superfan! Today we're going to be taking a gander at a Homestead Windsor Superfan. The Windsor part of the model name refers to the fan's overall size and look, being 36 inches with the standard Homestead faceplates, very similar to that of a Whisperfan 3. The Superfan part of the model name refers to the control method. The Superfan was in a way Homestead's answer to Casablanca's IntelliTouch, in the sense that it was their first ever computerized controlled fan with its own special wall control. Well, quote-unquote computerized, it does have a board and all that. So, how the Superfan works is it has its own special control knob, which can be seen right here. And then there is a board inside of the motor housing that transmits the information and sends it to the fan, telling it what to do. Now, there's something a little bit interesting about the way this fan functions. That being, if you see right up there, this fan has a DC motor in it. And not DC comics, DC electricity. Most fans use AC, but this motor uses DC. The control takes the AC electricity coming from the power source, converts it into DC, and then has it go to the fan. And mind you, this fan is from 1987, and the Superfan had been advertised by Homestead as early as 1983. That's right, Homestead was doing DC motor technology in the early to mid-1980s. They were very ahead of their time with this design. As in current day, many higher-end fan companies do use DC motor technology. However, it really didn't start to become of popular use until about 2010 or so. Homestead was very ahead of their time with this design. But with that said, the technology was not quite there yet, in the sense that the reliability of the boards and the wall controls as well is not the greatest, particularly the boards. They fail quite a bit. Thankfully, though, this one is still in good working order, knock on wood. Another major issue that these fans ran into was the flywheels. As I believe in 1985, Homestead changed their flywheel design to a slightly more rigid rubber as opposed to the more flexible Saflex type rubber akin to Casablanca's Saflex flywheel design. And what that meant was that the flywheels would easily break. Because of the DC motor technology, when the fan first turns on sometimes, the flywheel twitches back and forth a little bit. The fan can kind of go like this or something, because the signal hasn't quite transmitted yet, and the motor doesn't quite know what it's supposed to do. So it just kind of twitches back and forth, and that would wreak havoc on these flywheels. They would break like no tomorrow. Thankfully, this one has been replaced from its original. So, board is good, flywheel is good, control is also good. Thankfully, this fan is in good shape. And it's kind of ironic that, unlike, Superman, this thing is quite prone to destruction, unlike Superman, who's very indestructible. Anyways, twist that on. How the knob works is that there are actually two knobs on the control. There's one in the front here, and then there's one in the back there. This one here in the back controls the speed of the fan, whilst this one in the front, I believe, would control the light kit. If it had one, it would turn the light kit on, dim it, and do all that. So I currently have this fan set as slow as it can go from the Superfan wall control. And another thing that did not work out in this fan's favor, on top of low reliability, high flywheel failure, was just the fact that these things were very pricey. Again, DC motor technology was not a thing at all in the 1980s, so these things cost a lot of money. It was really the only kind of fan you would see, like when you go over to that rich, snobby neighbor's house for a wine and cheese, and they're just like, "Oh, look at this nice fan I have installed. It cost me $1,000." It's like, really, who is installing them in their houses other than people like that? So all those things combined means you really do not see these very much anymore these days. They are quite a rare treat, especially the non-Stratford models, the Stratford being the 52-inch version of this one. However, Windsor Superfans, Brentwood Superfans, especially Coventry Superfans, you almost never see them. They are quite rare. This fan came to me from Matt Cody earlier this year. He was quite the Homestead aficionado a few years back, so I was able to get some good stuff from him. Anyways, I'll turn the fan up here a little bit, going up from an aesthetic low to more of a functional low now. But yeah, so these fans are quite rare today. Usually when you do see a Superfan, it's a Stratford model. Windsors do pop up every now and again. Brentwoods, maybe there's a couple floating around. Coventry, don't think I've ever seen one. And of course there are other versions of those looks, like there's the Comfort Flow version, which is 5-speed, and there may also be the Universal version, which is basic 3-speed. I'm not entirely sure if there were any combinations that Homestead may have done or not done, but many of these are rather uncommon, and it's quite a shame because they're cool fans. Despite, in the Superfan's case, the technology being not quite there yet. Nevertheless, it was an ambitious design, and I do respect Homestead for giving it a try. Okay, take it up some more here. And we're at that medium speed where the camera always likes to lose focus. Take it up a bit more. So while the control is perhaps a bit more user-friendly than, say, an IntelliTouch control, it is still a little hard to, get the handle of operating. Again, the front knob has a click on it, and you use that to turn the whole fan on and off. That one also controls the light and can dim it. The back one controls the fan speed, and then to reverse the fan, you just turn it off and back on again really quickly. Bit of a weird setup, but again, it works for what it is. And there may be another setting or two on there that I'm not aware of, so I'm not the biggest expert on Homestead Superfans. Take it up some more, nearing full speed here. Fan is in very nice shape. It's almost perfectly balanced with no bearing noise. I'm sure when Matt Cody got this, he, did everything he could to make it pristine, as he usually does with his fans. Alright, take it up to full speed. For a 36-inch fan, it's not the fastest thing out there, but it still has decent air output, for sure. And real quick, I'll see if I can demonstrate the reverse function for you. Usually don't reverse fans, but this is a special case, so. Not going to reverse? I guess it's not going to. Oh, whatever. Thing can be rather finicky sometimes, so if it doesn't want to do something, I just usually let it be. Here's one more look at the control. Front knob and back knob. So anyways, there you have it. An antique brass 36-inch Homestead Windsor Superfan.